So we had completed the overview of the various machining process. That is nothing but what are the difference between a traditional and non-traditional. And we had learned about the dimensional tolerances and the surface roughness. So we from today onwards, we will see what are the design for machining, what are the general design recommendations for the machine parts, and what are the general design rules for the machining. So you already seen with examples related to general design rules for the machining, like the sharp corners or shoulders or the fillets or the chamfers. So where the roundness is to be get given, where the holes are to be get put placed in a certain piece. So those type of examples we had seen, but now we have to learn what are the design rules to be get accepted, design rules to be get followed in this part. So I will share my screen. So see students, so these are the design rules for the machining. So is the screen is available? Can you see the screen?
Yes, madam.
Okay.
కనిపిస్తుంది మేడం.
So in this one, they had given in order to obtain the economic production, following design rules to be get followed. So these are the general design rules which are to be get followed when you are doing a machining. These are the rules to be get compulsory to be get followed. So the first one is design should be simple so that the end product is obtained with less number of parts. Clear, because when you want to make any intricate shapes or any complex shapes, if the design is very complicated, you can't complete the product within a given time, and we can't get a correct accurate product also. So whatever the thing you want to made, it must be so simple so that it can be easily get. But in that simplest product, everything is to be get available, everything is to be get available. So the thing is design should be simple so that the end product is obtained with less number of parts. So next one, on drawings give only the statements which can be easily understood by appropriate production personnel. So in the last class I had already told you, don't give the total sentences, don't give the paragraphs or in a drawing, just mention what is to be drawn there, what is to be get followed, how many items is to be get prepared, and which one is to be having this type of surface roughness or roundness or angularity. So the statements must be given in the form of a symbols, in the form of a symbols, not to be get written a sentence and sentence and sentence. Because if the more sentences are to be get written on the diagram, the manufacturing department person who is going to be taken care of the diagram, they will be get confused. So don't give a more sentences, give a certain statement with directly strike to the diagram. So the statement, it must be in a position with in the form of a symbol. If it is a thread, M thread, if it is a V thread, give the symbol of a V thread. So if it is in a square dimension, square thread of a bolt, a square hexagonal part, given in the form of SQ, not in a square thread hexagonal. So give in a shortcut pieces. So on drawings, give only the statements which can be easily understood by appropriate production personnel. So the next one is part dimensioning must be carried out with respect to particular points or surfaces on the same part. So if the parts which are to be get manufactured is to be get assembled after some time. So when you are going to manufacturing the parts, we have to give a certain reference line, whether this is a certain X line or it is a center line from which this part can be easily made, easily get assembled, so that they can understood easily that okay, this is the first piece and this is the second piece, the both the axes can be easily get collide. But don't give the pieces, don't give the parts which is having one is in X direction, one is in a Y direction axis, one is in a Z direction axis. Because when you are giving the more different types of points, the things are they will be get confused. So what the thing is, part dimensioning must be get carried out with respect to a particular point. So don't give the dimensions in all the views, in all the views. See, if a diagram is in three views, front view, top view and a side view. So when you want to specify the dimension, specify in the front view, don't again specify in the side view, don't again specify in the top view, specify only on certain view, not in all the views. If you are giving the dimension in all the views, what happens? The person who want to get manufacture, he will get confused why they had given three views, whether they had a difference between the three dimensions, or what is going to happen. So don't give a repeated dimensions. When you, while you are going to be studying a drawing also, we used to be tell that is give the dimension is only one view, not to be specified in another view. If you are giving in one dimension, one view, you must not give in another view. So the part dimension must be carried out with the respective, and it must be correct. It must be correct. If you are giving the dimension from a center line, where the center line is, where the center line is. So if you are giving some dimension for an inclined path, where the inclined path, whether the inclined part is up to some point or the total body is inclined. So what is? So give a cut clearly the part dimension. So the next one is to prevent a tolerance overlap and to reduce difficulty in tooling and gauging. Dimensions are to be drawn from a single reference line. So we have to give a tolerance. The allowance is to be given for each and every part, each and every part. So what type of tolerance you want to give? Whether it is having a clearance bit, or it is having interference bit, or it is having a transition bit. So what type of tolerance you want to give? So the tolerance must be given that the hole and a shaft must not be having a same tolerance, must not be having a same, because when you are giving the same thing, what type of the workpiece, what is the last end, it won't be a correct path. So give a certain dimension either for a hole or either for a shaft. So give a certain thing so that they won't be get difficulty while we are going to be machining, while you are giving the dimensions. So they won't be any repetitive path. So follow only one path, given the dimension, given the tolerance in a particular way. So the next one is design so as to minimize the cost of labor. So as to minimize the cost of labor. So thing is, if you want to design, if you want to manufacture a part on a certain machine, it is to be get complete at a certain point only. Again, the piece must not be get to the first machine. Again, the piece must not to be get for the first machine. Clear? If you are doing the operation on a CNC lathe, whatever the operations are to be done on a CNC lathe, it must be get complete. We must not to repeat again to place the workpiece on a CNC machine, because it is very costly. It is very costly. So when you are going to be given some wages to a labor also, it is very very high. So when we are going to be appoint a person, what we will say, you have to work on these many hours to complete our workpiece. If the workpiece, the certain hours was completed, he won't do extra hours. So our thing is just minimize the number of operations, number of repetitions to be done on a certain machine. Do a thing, if you are going to be uploading a workpiece on a certain machine, complete the total thing on a certain machine, then go to the second machine, so that there will be a correct product layout or correct plant layout. So the next one is design for less weight and after done with functional requirements. So nowadays you are going to be seeing in a outside, what the thing is, when you are going to buy a certain piece or certain product, what do you think? It must be very less weight so that we can't be strain more. So how the piece must be, what type of material you are going to be taken, and what are the functional characteristics also, what is done. If it is having a less weight, can you get the correct output which is having a heavy weight piece? So how you are going to be? So the design must be in a manner for a less weight, in a manner for a less weight, so that the functional requirements to be get done, so that the functional requirements must be sustained also. So the next one is designed to avoid the necessity of the special tooling. Designed to avoid, they are telling that avoid the necessity of the special tooling. So the thing is, when you want to get manufacture, when you want to start, you have to be know what are the different types of jigs and fixtures, what are the different types of tools are there available in our company, so that we can easily get start our functioning, get start our functioning. So don't try to buy something extra tool, something more expensive tool from other sites, from the other sites. Just avoid that one. If you are going to be trying to buy that thing, so what it happens, the cost of the product is going to get increased. So the thing is, when you want to manufacture a product, we have to know what are the tools are to be get there in our company, and these tools are to be get used for the certain product or not. If you are not used, try to get the another alternative. What is another alternative can be done for a certain output? So that is to be get taken. So the next one is to reduce the difficulty in production, prevent the sharp edges or corners. So the to reduce the difficulty. So if you have a very sharp edge, if you have a very sharp corners, what is going to happen? It takes a very much large time. It takes a very large time. So that we have to be get a very sharp edge. We have to get a very sharp corner also. So if it is to remove the sharp edges and corners, what it happens, the production will be very smooth, and the correct given time the production can be get complete. There won't be any difficulties in the production also. So the thing is, they are telling, just remove the sharp edges, just remove the corners also. Because one is the disadvantage of the sharp edges or corners is, when it is having some assembly parts, what it happens, the part will be get damaged. Because when it is moving in when it is putting inside and outside, it is a repetitive operation. What happens to the sharp edges, it will be get blunt also. So they are telling that just avoid those sharp edges, just avoid the corners, so that your production will be get smooth. So the next one is, the part design should be such that it undergo multiple operations. The part design should be such that it undergo multiple operations. So the part design, if a part is taken only a certain operation, like a drilling, like a slotting, or a knurling, what is the cost you are going to put in? What is the use of a knurling? It is just an embossing. Nothing is there for a knurling. It is just an embossing. So we are going to be appearance for a certain product, appearance for a certain thing. So what is the use of a turning? What is the use of a drilling? So if you are going to be do the drilling, what is it is enough, it is enough for a certain product. So what is the cost you are going to putting for a drilling operated workpiece? If the drilling operated workpiece is to be put a cost of 1,000 rupees, can any customer can be get buy? No. So the thing is, what the design rule explains, that whatever the product you want to be get manufactured, it must have a multiple operation. The customer think that why you to be get buy the product, why you are going to putting that much amount for a certain product. If a certain one operation was there, it is unnecessary to put a certain amount of thing on a product. If it is having a more operations, there must be a certain value for it to put a certain amount on a certain product. So thing is, the part design should be in a such that it undergo multiple operations. So the next, provide holes at a distance in machined parts in such a way that they are obtained in a single operation without affecting the tool strength. So I already shown in one file that when the workpiece is having a wall, in a certain piece is having a wall, near to the wall, the hole or a cylinder cannot be get manufactured, cannot be get manufactured. It is somewhat far away from the wall. Because if you want to do any operation near to the wall, in between the wall and a workpiece, the cylindrical workpiece, you can be easily get done, can be easily get done. And if the space is not there between a wall and a workpiece, what happens to the wall? It can be get cracks. What happens to the hole or the cylinder? It can be get cracks. So so that the tool what you are going to using, it can be get effect also, it can be get effect also. So the thing is, when you want to do a certain operations, maintain a certain distance between each and every operation, each and every operation, not it is very nearer, so that there won't be any harm to your tools also in a certain thing. Clear? So these are the general design rules for the machining. So this explains that if you get an economic production, these are the rules to be get followed, these are the perfect rules to be get followed. But the thing is, there are some recommendations. So the general design recommendations for the machining also. There are the certain recommendations. So these can be get followed when you are doing certain things. So the first one is, when parts with desired surface features are obtained by the casting or forging process, then the machining of those parts is not necessary. So these are the somewhat the things to be get accepted at certain points. Some of the accepted at certain points, not all the time, some certain points. So when the parts with the desired surface features are obtained by casting or forging process, then the machining of those parts is not necessary. Because when you are doing the forging process, you are applying some pressure, you are taking two dice, you are going to be following certain procedure, and you are doing. So at a certain thing, though the surface is somewhat rough, uh, try to avoid that one, not to do again machining, not to do again the thing. So if you want to make a certain a shaft, or if you want to make a certain whole thing, or if you want to make a certain ribs, so whatever the things you want to prepare from a forging, like a pipes or any other thing, just use the same, not to remanufacture, not to remachining in another thing also. So the next one is, tolerances and surface finish of the part surfaces should be specified so that expensive finishing operations such as lapping, grinding, etc. are avoided. So when the design was given, in the design it must be clear that what is the type of tolerance is to be get given, what is the type of surface finish is to be get applied for that one. When the things are to be specified, the statement was given clearly, there is no again second option to go to the lapping and grinding. When the design was not clear, there is an option to go for a second lapping and grinding. Because when the surface finish was given this much distance, this much decimal, what you will do when the manufacturing person is when your manufacturing person is doing some operation, he will be get somewhat concentration, so that they won't be move for the another piece, it will be get complete within me only. So they can be specify the work specification, the work satisfaction. So the thing is, the tolerances and surface finishes of the part surfaces should be specified so that the expensive finishing operations such as lapping, grinding, etc. are avoided. Clear? So in this one we can take a disadvantage also, because when the design was clear and the machine person is not up to the mark, what is going to be happen, there will be some cutting of wages in their salaries, because we are moving for the other operations, we are moving for other operations. Because we can do the smooth finishing on a certain finishing part, certain operation, but they are not up to the mark, they are not up to the mark. So we are going to be to the lapping and grinding or honing or approaching. So we are going to moving to there. So it is moving means it is very expensive, because those are super finishing operations. So when you are moving for that one, there is somewhat loss for a person who is doing in a manufacturing. So this is one of the disadvantage for the machining person also. So the person must be in a position to complete the work in a correct path, so that no alternative is to be get handled. Clear? So the third one is, parts are designed such that they will not cause any fixation and clamping problems while machining. So parts are certain designed in a thing is, no clamping problems can be get, no any fixation, cause any fixation is to be get while machining. When doing the machining and you want to just clamp the workpiece, it must be in a position in a certain way, it can be get clamped, it can be, and a fixation. If you want to fix the workpiece on a shaping machine, or you want to fix a workpiece on a drilling machine, it must be in a certain way, you have to be get, you have to be get. If the workpiece is not up to the extent it is to be get on a drilling machine, it is a waste of to prepare a part like. Clear? So the cutting tools should be free from the sharp point cutting tools and sharp corners, as these features leads to breakage. So the cutting should be free from the sharp edges, free from the sharp point cutting tools and the sharp corners, as these features leads to breakage. So I already told you the cutting tools should be free from the sharp. Why means, when you use the cutting fluids, when you use the lubricants, when the machining was done, what happened to the cutting tool? It will be have automatically the sharp edges. It will be have and the tool strength will be more and more. The life will be more. So there won't be any tool breakage. If the continuous feeding, the speed and depth of cut was given, what happens to the cutting tool? The sharp corners will be get break. So they are telling that just free from it. Just free from it means we have to take a precautions so that the cutting tool cannot be get break. The cutting tool life must be more, to increase more. What is the precautions to be get taken? That is the point they are going to be explaining here. Here. So next point is, while machining with single point cutting tools, interrupted cuts should be avoided. So when you are going to be do the working on a single point cutting tool, just remove that slots, just remove that undercuts or a shoulders. So these type of operations, just avoid the thing, because when these are there, we can't give a certain more and more. One more thing, students, whatever the general recommendations are specifying, these are mostly whatever the thing was given is just avoid, avoid, avoid. It is given related to the traditional only, not to the non-conventional machines, not to the non-conventional machines. Because in a non-conventional machinings, you can perform in a very sharp, we can give a workpiece in a correct way, in a correct way, whether it is an undercut, whether it is a shoulder, or whether whatever it is. But in a traditional operations, we can't give up to the mark. So whatever the design considerations or whatever the design recommendations was given, and it is related to most of the traditional what they are going to be telling, not for the non-traditional thing. That is the point you have to get understood. Okay, so the parts are designed to for strength to resist the forces involved in clamping and the cutting forces. So you already know, when the workpiece was placed on a check, when the tool was going to be placed on a square tool post, and when the feed and depth of cut was given, what are the different cutting forces are to be get evolved? What are the cutting forces? So how it is going to be taken? And so when more cutting forces are going to be acting on a workpiece, what are the properties can be get changed in a workpiece? What are the properties are changing in a tool? So whether we can perform the more operations on a certain workpiece or not. So what is the thing you are going to be? So the next one is, design such the part should not possess more number of shoulders, because shoulders require machining, special machining operations. So I already told you, when you are going to be doing the operations with a single point cutting tool, just avoid the interrupt cuts, just avoid the shoulders, just avoid the corners, sharpness, everything, because so that you can have a smooth production. You can have a smooth production. So next one is, the part should not contain the counters, taper surfaces which require the special tooling, setups and care during the machining operations. So whatever the recommendations was given, that related to the tradition, not for the non-traditional. Because in a non-traditional, we can do the tapered surfaces, whatever the thing, the other things. Because there we are going to performing different types of machines, not in a single machine. But here, when you are going to be using a lathe machine, we want to be do a taper surface. What type of tools is to be get followed? When you want to do another knurling surface, knurling, or when you want to do a step cut, when you want to do a counters on it, so what type of tools are to be get followed? You are going to be removing the tool and you are placing the tool on a square tool post. So they are telling that just avoid those type of surfaces, so that a certain type of tool adjustment is to be get reduced. Because the lathe size you are fixed starting only. So in a square tool post, you already is fixed 4 types of tools in a square tool post, because it is in a 4 corners, you are putting a 4 tools and 1 tool in a tailstock. So you already fixed 5 tools. But if you want to do the more and more operations, what happens? Again, the lathe size will be get changed. Lathe size will be get changed. If the lathe size is to be get changed, what happens to the workpiece? It totally affects on the workpiece when you are going to be do the operation. So the thing they want to tell is, the part should not contain the counters and the taper surfaces which require the special tooling, setups and care during the machining operation. Clear? So the next one is, prefer the material which have the high machinability index, which the material which is having a very high machinability index, that type of material is to be get preferred. Clear? So the next one is, design the parts for the ease of production and economical for the desired quantity. So whatever the type of material you are going to be choosing, what is economical, and it comes under the point of economical to for a company also. What type of quantity you are producing, what type of production you are going to be doing, whether it is a batch or a mass or a job production. So it depends on the material chosen, it depends on the product, it depends on the design, what type of quantity, what type of quality you are giving, that is to be get taken. So these are the general design recommendations for the machining. Okay now, so whatever the thing you had seen in the previous, those are the rules. These are only the rules what is to be get followed, so that your workpiece will be in a certain way. So these are the recommendations. So these are the general design considerations for the casting. So we had different types of things in the next units. So the things is, in the next unit, we are having a metal casting, metal joining, extrusion, and sheet metal work, and a plastics. So, in these type of machining operations, what are the design considerations are to be get considered? Design considerations. So, see. So one is the manufacturing considerations in the design. So it explains the design considerations for the castings. So in order to produce the efficient and effective products or components through the casting process, the following factors should be get considered. The operations or functions to be performed in a manner necessary, strength of the casting, and ease and economy of the casting in production, and casting soundness and precautions for the safety. Precautions for the safety. So tell me one thing, students. When you are started your casting operation, you had put a one piece of pattern in a drag, another piece of pattern in a cope. So you are going to be just colliding both the thing, and you are going to be pouring some melting material, melting molten material inside of the spruce and the risers. You are going to be checking from the riser. You are going to pouring from the screw. And if you want to get a more strengthened casting, what you have to get? See, we have to do the ramming on the surface. The ramming is to be get done on the when the green sand was poured in a cope and a drag, because so that the workpiece will be get tightened more and more. The workpiece to be get tightened more and more. The ramming is to be get done. If the ramming was not to be get done, what happens to the workpiece? It is of uneven shape. You won't get the correct shape. You won't get the correct shape. Though you had placed a pattern in a correct center, though you have placed a half of the pattern, split pattern, one piece in a correct center, other piece in a correct center, and if the ramming was not done in a correct way, what happens to the workpiece? You won't get in a correct shape. And if you are not poured the sand, a normal sand on the ramming, what happens? It won't be done in a correct manner, and you are not going to putting a vent holes. If you're not putting a vent holes, what happened to the workpiece? It will be generate some bubbles on the workpiece. Some type of holes are to be get generated on the workpiece. So why the vent holes are to be get provided on the cope and a drag? Because any oxygen levels are going to be there. Moisture was there in your the total green sand. It is to be get out from the vent holes. If the vent holes are not to be given in the total operation, what happens to the workpiece? It is having a holes. It is having a holes. So to avoid those type of defects in your workpiece, what type of the precautions is to be get taken? One is correct ramming was to be get done. The second one is the green sand must be very smooth. If the green sand was already used, how the green sand is to be again performed? Again, more and more the thing was to be get hammer. So with the help of a hammer, it is to be get smooth and smooth. So after pouring a green sand, how we are placing the patterns, and where the correct sprue and riser are to be get placed, right? Where the place of those things are to be get placed, and where the vent holes are to be get even, and where the how the sand was poured on a thing, and whether the cope and rack was correctly fixed or not, with your bolts and nuts or any other thing, how it is to be get fixed. So these are the rules to be get followed when a workpiece was to be manufactured. When a workpiece was to be manufactured, these are the rules to be get followed. So when these rules are not to be get followed in a correct manner, it totally affects on the workpiece. It totally affects on the workpiece. If it affects on the workpiece, you will move for the second alternative machining process. Yes or not? If the workpiece is not up to the mark, what you will do? We will move for the second operations. Okay, from with this operation, we will get a correct picture. With this operation, we will get a correct picture. So what it happens is repetitive operations is going to be carrying out on a certain casting product. You just avoid the repetitive operations when you do in a correct manner. When you want to do in a correct manner, you will just avoid the operations so that we will get a piece in a correct shape. When you are going to pouring a aluminium molten metal, you want to get a correct shape. What are the things to be get followed? So what type of casting you are going to be taken, whether it is an investment casting or it is sand casting, what is the casting you are going to be taken? So these are the design considerations for the casting, whether the operations or the functions to be get performed, necessary strength of the casting was there or not, ease and economy of the casting in production or not, the casting soundness. Casting soundness is explains that whether you had followed all the requirements to be given for that casting process or not. Casting soundness explains that the requirements which are to be given for the procedure was given or not. That is nothing but a casting soundness. So what are the things I have told now up to now? So those are the requirements to do the casting. So what is the precautions for the safety? So the what is the precautions we have taken? So the precautions means when you are going to be removing the cope and drag, it is not to be removed in a rough manner. It is not to be removed in a rough manner, not to be break the cope and drag. If you want to break the cope and drag, if totally affect on the workpiece, because inside your piece was there. Inside your piece was there. It is not just a pattern. You had poured some molten metal inside the pattern. So after completion, you have to be get removed in a certain manner. Whatever the thing you had used to follow it, to do the casting, the same reverse manner is also to be get followed to remove the workpiece. Clear? So the whatever the precautions for the safety are going to be taken, that also to be get seen. Okay, so these are the design considerations for the casting. Okay, so the next one. So these are the design considerations for the forging. So forging, you already known, already you had done the forging operations in a blacksmith, in a workshop. So how the forging is to be get done? So when you want to be know the radial flow of the grains, what type of products can be get manufactured, how the products are to be get manufactured. See, one thing students, in a forging, we just follow that two dies will be there. So in a certain part of a die, you are going to putting a certain type of material, and you are with the help of a pressure, the workpiece is to be get in a shape. The workpiece is to be get in a shape. Whether it is a pipe, whether it is a hollow shape, or any other thing, whether it is a circular or whether it is a angular or whether it is a square piece, any of the thing, the operation is you will be having a die in middle, the material is to be get poured with the help of a pressure, the workpiece is to be get out. So the forged products and components must have a radial flow of grains or fibers. So here they are going to be telling about the hollow shape of work pieces. So when the hollow shape of work pieces you had manufactured, how it is, whether the hollow shape is near starting from the start to the end is in the same diameter or not. Whether the with a forged component, can you use, can the water can be flow from this point to that point or not? Clear? And the parting line should divide the component into two halves, and lie at a maximum distance in one place. So you already know what is a parting line. Parting line is nothing but when you want to make the two pieces, two half pieces. When the two half pieces, one of the hollow semicircular piece was made with by using one type of forging, another semicircular was made with another. When you are going to be putting, mating both are thing, what is a parting line you are having, what is the maximum distance in one of the piece, what is the inside diameter you are going to maintaining, that is a thing you have to be careful. So to facilitate easy processing and to prevent the stress concentration effects, the sharp corners should be avoided. So here also they are going to be telling that if you want to do give a very good operation, good processing, when you the stresses are to be get generated, the sharp corners is to be get avoided. The thing is, when you are going to be following all the traditional operations, just avoid the sharp corners, just avoid the undercuts, just avoid the sharp edges, shoulders, everything, so that your production will be get smooth. Clear? Next, for easy removal of the forging from dies, adequate draft on the surface must be provided. So for easy removal of the forging from the dies, So when you want to start the production, what you will do with the help of a two dies, and in the middle you are putting some material. In the same manner, when you want to remove the center part, how the dies are to be get removed? It is in a certain manner, not in a roughly. So how it is to be get removed the dies. So the next one is thin sections must be avoided for easy flow of material. Yes, for any of the operation, thin sections must be get avoided. If the thin sections are to be get done on a workpiece, it is very costly, and it is the most care is to be get taken when the thin sections was to be get carried out. So here in a forging, the thin sections must be avoided for easy flow of the material. Next, the ribs in forging should not be long and thin. The ribs, whatever the thing is happen in forging, should not be very long, should not be very thin. So to avoid or reduce the increased die weight, the process and pocket should be minimum. So whatever the pockets you are going to put in, whatever the things was going to happen, it is to be get avoid, so that they won't be very tear and wear of the die. The die life will be get increase more and more. If you are going to be taken a roughly shape, if you want to do the operation in a rough manner, what happens to the die? Die will be get spoiled. If the die is to be get spoiled, what happens? More and more amount is to be get putting on the die to be get manufactured. So the thing is, the avoid or reduce the increased die wear. The recess and pocket should be minimum. Clear? So the next one. So the design considerations of welded assemblies. So when the welding operations was done, what are the type of considerations to be get followed? So the first one, select the material with high weldability. Yes, when you want to be welding two pieces, whether it is a T joint or a L joint or a plain joint or a flat joint, whatever the thing you want to be do the joints, what are the type of material you are going to be choosing? When you want to be do the operation with a gas oxygen welding, it is a gas welding. So what type of material is to be get chosen? So the next one, the design should involve minimum number of welds and avoid over welding. Clear? So when the operation was done, when the welding was done, just involve the minimum number of welds. It not be more and more number of welds. It not be more and more number of welds, because welding is okay, but not up to the mark, not up to the mark. It is okay. So just avoid that one, over welding. If the over welding was happen, what happened to the workpiece? The electrode is to be get melted, and it is to be get poured on a in between a gap. So what happens? There won't be very smooth. You have to be go for another operations, just like filing or any other shaping, so that to remove the over welding part. So the thing is, the design should involve very minimum number of welds, not the more number of welds. See, when a submarine was there in a water, if there is some crack at a certain part, what it is going to be done? It is nothing but a water welding was to be get done. The water welding is not to be done more the part. It is not up to the total length. It is only a certain point. If the total length water welding is done, what happened to the workpiece? It won't be having a more strength and strength. So what happens to the workpiece? What is the life of the workpiece? So the welding is to be done only a certain thing, not it is up to the mark. Not takes it is a first priority. Not takes it is a first priority. So in designing a welded assembly to replace a casting, it is incorrect to duplicate its appearance and shape by providing a precision, bracket, and housing. So the thing they are telling is, use of the in designing a welded assembly to replace a casting, it is incorrect to duplicate its appearance and shape by providing precision, brackets, and housing. So when you are going to producing a certain products, brackets and housing, just design a weld assembly to replace a casting. In the place of a casting, we are going to designing the welded. So use of the standard components by specifying the standard sizes for plates, bars, and rolled sections. So standard components, it by specifying the standard sizes of the plates, bars, and the rolls. So the selection of the proper location for the wells. So you are going to be handling one type of mask, one type of glass shield in front of your eyes, and you are going to putting the electrode on a certain gap. If you are not putting the electrode in a certain gap, what happened to the pieces? It is in a zigzag way. It is in a blur way. It is not in a correct smooth manner. So when you are doing an operation and the shield is to be placed on your in front of your face, how the electrode is to be get moved. When you are going to be performing the gas welding operation, where the gas is you are going to pouring, where the melting was to be get done. So whether it is in a correct manner, correct space or not. So you have to be select a proper location also for welds, not to be do the welding in a very open area, in very open area. So not to be done in a very closed area. So where it is to be get performed, it is to be thing where it is to be taken. So sequence in which the parts should be welded together for minimum distortion. So sequence to be get followed, not to be done very much. It is to be get followed one after the other. Not it must be get clumsy. So the next one, design considerations for the powder metallurgy. Up to now you had seen what is a casting, what is a forging, and what is a welding. So now you have got is powder metallurgy. I think you already know what is a powder metallurgy, where you had to learn in a MMS subject. So how the process is to be get followed. So the following design steps to be get considered while making parts by the powder metallurgy. The parts with the straight walls should be preferred. No draft is required for ejection from die if lubricated. Do not prefer parts with thin walls or sharp corners. Avoid abrupt changes in wall thickness as they lead to distortion after sintering. In powder metallurgy, pressure cannot be uniformly transmitted through a deep bed of powder. Hence, the length of a point should not be more than 2.5 times the diameter. So, the diameter and axial version should be kept minimum. So, provide wide dimension tolerance. So when you want to start the workpiece with the help of a powder metallurgy, the first step is what type of material is to be get chosen. And after choosing the material, with this material, what type of resin is to be get taken. So you are going to be having a matrix shape. You are going to be having a matrix. So the material what you are going to be taken is in a nano powder or it is in a only normal powder. What type of thing? So when you want to a nano powder, what is the type of operation is to be get followed? Ball milling machine. In a ball milling machine, what is the type of temperature you want to be get kept on a workpiece so that it is more and more. Ball milling machine is nothing but like a mixie part, so that it is a very more and smooth and powder part is to be getting out. Powder part, if a material to be get more powder part, you will move for a ball milling, and in a ball milling you will be having a different number of balls. So what type of ball is to be get chosen for a certain material? Not all the balls is to be get chosen for all the materials. So what type of dies are to be get taken? So after the powder was getting out, how it is to be get putting into a certain shape. So directly putting on a certain shape, you won't get the part. So what is the process is to be get followed? After putting a layer of a powder metallurgy on a certain shape, what is the resin you are going to put in? What is the technique you are going to be taking? What is the layup technique you are following? Not a layup technique. There are very much techniques are there in a world which is to be followed for a powder metallurgy pieces. So what type of techniques are to be get followed for a thing? So after putting a center matrix, after what is the part you want to, what is the powder you want to put in a layer, how much part it is to be get put on a layer, what is the thickness of it, what is the thickness of it. If you are putting more and more thickness, it can't be having a correct distortion, it can't be having a correct attack stickiness. So how much thickness you are going to putting on a part, how much powder you are going to putting. So if we, whatever the thing to get stickiness, it is nothing but a centering. Sintering was to be get done. How the sintering is to be get done? So when the sintering was to be get done, what are the things to be get avoided? What are things is to be get avoided? So similar to the other operations, here also they are telling just avoid the thin walls, just avoid the sharp corners, because to prefer to make a very thin wall, it is very difficult. To make a very sharp corner, it is very difficult. If you want to make a correct square shape, if you want to make a correct rectangular shape, or it is a round shape, it is very easy. It is very easy because it will be having a very die in your shape, and after putting on a die, you are going to putting some material and you are doing some operation. So what is the pressure you are putting? It is the pressure is uniformly or not. So these are the different processes to be get followed to get a certain workpiece. So here they are telling what are the design considerations to be get taken for the powder metallurgy. So the same manner, avoid the thin walls, sharp corners, and the centering was to be get done. When it is having a centering, what are the type of changes is to be get happen, what are the pressure is to be get done. So these are the things to be get considered when the powder metallurgy was to be get taken. Okay, now. So the next one, design considerations for a heat treatment. So the following are the design considerations to be get followed during the design part subjected to the heat treatment. The one is avoid the heavy concentration of the mass at one place with a thin section adjoining with it. So next, avoid the sharp corners by providing a fillet or recess. As far as possible, provide the symmetrical shapes to the parts. Do not provide the holes or opening along the possible line of cracks. Clear? So these are the four considerations to be get followed when designing the heat treatment. When the heat treatment process is going to get done, the main thing is in every design, just avoid the sharp corner, just avoid the fillets, just avoid the chamfers. So they are telling that which is very delicate when a certain operation was done, it is to be get harm. So that type of delicate things is to be get avoided so that there won't be any harm to the workpiece. If there is somewhat harm to the workpiece, you have to move for another operations so that the workpiece is to be get to a certain position. So not to go for a certain operations, just avoid these all.